triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for freedom. Welcome everyone, this is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio, and I'm glad that you're listening and you're following me today. Listen, it is Monday and it is time to start getting this show on the road. My website, first of all, my name is Watson Prunier. I'm your host from Battle for Freedom. My website is www.battle4freedom.com. From there, I want you to do me a favor and share out my program, my website, with as many people as you possibly can. Listen, do me a favor. And also, we want to make sure that you start this day off on the right foot. That also means starting it off with American Pride Roasters coffee. And of course, you know, I have to talk to you about Watson's White Chocolate Mocha. Take a listen on this one here. That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo 50 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo 50 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation. American Pride Roasters. The reason why I use it in such a, the reason why I use judging not Amy in this particular matter is because of the fact that we run into this problem where, a lot of people, they go like that famous passage in the Bible, judge not lest ye be judged. Judge not lest ye be judged. And it's very interesting, the double standards, the craziness, the insanity. For those of you who have not been paying attention, those of you who haven't been following this has been very crazy. This has been very insane in terms of how's America devolved, the unkind nature of Americans. I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about having an opportunity to go to Joe Jorgensen's rally yesterday here in Indiana because of the fact that it was very interesting. It was really, really nice people I was able to meet. I was able to talk briefly with the gubernatorial candidate, the libertarian gubernatorial candidate here, Donald Rainwater, and hope to actually have him in an interview here coming soon so that we can actually talk more about what his position is and where he wants to. And it's very interesting as you sit here and you listen to this and you find this. Sorry again, folks. If you're following me, it's early in the morning. You probably just finished listening to Rocky Stucci with the Situation Room, and if it's in the afternoon, it's probably you're listening to right now with Jim Dawes. And I probably need some. I haven't had a chance to get some American Pride Roasters coffee this morning, but I definitely will to wake me up and be ready for have all cylinders firing when it's time to cover these topics. But I sit here and I'm just looking at this because, by now, all the craziness is going on. I remember seeing things like, because Judge Amy is finally the person who's been selected and nominated by the President of the United States, his third opportunity to do so, even though people wanted to bring in this uncalled for or this even illegitimate emotionalism in trying to deny the President of the United States of America from doing his job. Because, now remind you, think about this. The same media who condemned Donald Trump for not responding fast enough to deal with the COVID-19 doesn't want the president to be fast enough to respond to filling the seat of Ruth J. Actually, it's not even the seat of Justice Ginsburg. Oh my goodness, Ginsburg anymore. It's the seat of the American people. See, if for some strange reason, yes, Ruth Bader Ginsburg used to be who was on that seat, but that seat doesn't belong to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That seat belongs to the American people. That seat belongs to Donald Trump to fill. So this whole idea of him rushing things, and now mind you, this is also coming from the same people. This is also coming from the same people who were so quick to rush him, so quick to impeach him, so quick to, and look at this now. I mean, the fact that last week that Nancy Pelosi had the nerve to say, if he fills that seat, we will impeach him, shows you right now the whole temperament of what's going on from the Democrat Party. Now, you can get mad at the Republicans all you want. Oh, they didn't give Barack Obama a chance. Listen, did Barack Obama present what's his name? Garland. He did nominate Garland. So did they start the whole processes? No, they didn't. If they didn't start the process, then, hypocrisy on the Republican side. Oh, I'm hating this idea of requiring consistency only when it benefits you. Consistency should be the whole idea. No, not even consistency should be in our character. And honestly, we are being judged right now in our behavior when we choose that we don't want to be consistent in what we do. Left side, right side, middle side, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you are, if you're not even in the aisle. If we want to sit here and be inconsistent in our worldview, in our character, God will judge us. See, that's the whole idea of the judge not lest ye be judged. It's the whole idea of basically saying, listen, if you choose if you choose to judge someone based on this level, and then you're judging them against their actions, but secretly you're doing the same actions, or those actions are in an equivalent manner. Because most times when we judge people, we condemn them and you need to burn and blah 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 blah, and we want to throw the book at individuals. Do I need to take you to the parable where there were two individuals? I mean, there was a person who was forgiven by the king, and he owed the king like 100,000 talents or whatever it was, a ridiculously large amount of money. The king decided to forgive him as he pled to the king, please forgive me, please have mercy on me. And then when the person was freed from the king, walking the street, feeling high and feeling comfortable, and the person turns around and sees someone who owes them only like $7 or $70. Either way, the number was so inconsequential that it was so minuscule compared to the level of what he was forgiven. And then it would come turns to find out that the person beat up the guy. I mean, this is what's being shared by Jesus. And the person turns around and beats up the guy and throws him in prison, saying, you will rot in prison. Now, mind you, this is where the person who owed 100,000 could have been ending up in. He was threatened to be in jail until he paid off that fine. But the same mercy, the judgment that was withheld from him, he decided to cast down on someone else. That is why they say, judge not, lest ye be judged. Because when you decide that you want to be inconsistent in your worldview, inconsistent in your indignation, you will make things worse. Not for the other person that you hate with so much frustration. You will turn around and bring condemnation on yourself. Folks, we have to be very careful on this. I understand it's very fun. We want to joke around, and trust me, there are a lot of memes that are out there. And one of the ones that really gets me, and it's really sad, because I was watching Dominic Izzo had posted something last week, and someone jumped on his timeline, and they're attacking Amy Barrett because of the fact that they say that Catholicism is a cult. But then when you start looking at where people are what their faith practices are, you see cultish faiths or cultish practices in what they're doing as well. And it's like, can you really call them a cult when there's a lot of the different things that you're doing are cultish as well? And again, now mind you, this is very scary. This is very scary where we're coming to at this particular period of time, where we don't want to actually take a step back, reevaluate what we're doing, and understand this. This gets beyond the inconsistencies, the visceral hatred that's going to come out against Amy Coney Barrett by the Democrats, by the media, by the left, by so many other different individuals. Because understand this, as I sit there and I say this to you, I want you to understand that God is also saying the same thing as well to us. Folks, be careful how you're judging. Be careful how you're dealing with this. You know, I saw some great memes, you know, that let's see, you have, who is it? Amy Coney Barrett as a Catholic, but you also have Nancy Pelosi as a Catholic, and her faith is not questioned. Biden's a Catholic, and his faith is not questioned. All these other individuals, and here's the funnier part, and here's the funnier part about it too, is you turn around and you see that now, I think I heard that they said that Pelosi and them want to bring up, the congressional leaders want to bring up term limits on Supreme Court nominees. The people who don't want lifetime career politicians, who refuse to vote for term limits for themselves, now want to impose term limits on Supreme Court justices. Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black, or kettle black, whatever it is, pot, kettle, hypocrisy, you name it. It's unfortunate, because this inconsistent indignation is where we will find ourselves condemned. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Mitch and Dawn and William for joining. As I sit here, here's another one that really got me. And, you know, this was going to be really close to me. You know, I was talking to Melissa Sippy yesterday when I was on the Off Track with Wissy 6 last night. And she was just talking about this whole idea of studying, you know, the Haitian culturalism and so much that's out there. This was one of the ones that really got me kind of going yesterday when I heard this. It was very disgusting. Let me get this straight. Liberals are questioning the sincerity and legitimacy of the Haitian children adopted by Amy Coney Barrett, you know, Trump's nominated Supreme Court justice, and her husband. Where was the outrage when the Clinton Foundation was exposed for its ties to human trafficking from Haiti? And where is the outrage of the recent revelations of human trafficking ties of Hunter Biden? So, you know, sometimes it's really good for me just to do a meme and get that out of there and not be so frustrated because of the fact that it's just disgusting to watch. It's disgusting to watch the level of insincerity by the media and by so many out there. And then I saw something earlier that someone posted, and I think this is very key because of the fact that there needs to be a level of prayer. And I want to talk about that in a minute as well, too, about the amazing prayer thing that went on this past weekend. But we need to get into some serious prayer to extend out that beauty that took past this Saturday as we look to what's going on in our country, what's going to be decided on the issue of Amy, her position, the level of hatred that's going to come out. We need to be praying. And as much as we may hate the negativity that comes from both sides, we need to be in serious prayer about our nation because of the fact that we're in a lot of trouble, folks. We're too easy on slinging out hash and not just slinging out hash, but I'm telling you, it's just utterly disgusting in the level of way that we do this stuff, and we expect God to bless us. Why should God bless us when we have this level of just malevolence in us, and we don't even think anything of it? I know that, you know, like when I was playing around with my audio and having those issues earlier, you know, I felt like this voice was judging me in the background, as, you know, you couldn't hear me earlier, and I just heard the screaming in the background.
Watson!
Yeah, so and I just heard I felt like the spirit of Brad Staggs who comes on the Daily Mojo early in the morning after Battle for Freedom. I felt like he was judging me about not knowing where that button is. And you know what? Let's talk about Judge Not, because of the fact that I found this hilarious joke, and I need to share this one as I'm getting my mind prepped for the next stuff that we're going to be talking about. And this is one of our leaders in Mojo 50 Radio cracking a joke. This is Ron. This is Ron. And his joke off of Friday that I just couldn't let go.
You saw a meme yesterday? What?
No, I saw a meme yesterday with somebody holding a slice of pizza to their ear that said, if you hold a slice of Chicago pizza near your ear,
what?
you can hear the faint sound of gunshots. You know what?
Yes, I had. There's no way I could start this week off without. I shared it last night on Off Track Whiskey 6, but I had to share that again today. It's just sometimes when you just need that joke, you need that laughter, you just need that comfort to just laugh and just peel back for a little bit. I appreciate that. Trust me, you'll be hearing that more than the one time this week or the next couple of months as I try to remember to do that. But I had to break my rage building and actually bring some jokes and laugh because of the fact that it's really disturbing. It's really troubling to see where we are right now in terms of we know what's going to come out. We know what's going to be said. You see the memes right now that show Christy Blasey Ford, basically saying that, Amy Coney Barrett was there holding her down when she was sexually assaulted by Brett Kavanaugh. They even go so far as to say it was either Amy and her husband or Amy and her whole family were holding her down to be violated. We know that these things are going to come out. Mind you, that you have person after person, people who disagree with Amy Coney Barrett, but understand that her role as a judge has been perfect. This whole idea, what decision are you going to make? Why do they keep asking what decision you're going to make when Ruth Bader Ginsburg set the standard of saying, don't ask me to give you solutions on how opinions will be made by me on critical issues, because if you ask me that, I'm showing you my bias. I'm showing my inability to turn around and legislate without partiality. So this whole idea that you're going to watch all the slander, and again, here it is now, and again, so this is interesting too, because this is going to be a new record, not just only on the fact that the president's nominating another judge, but the whole idea of what Donald Trump said, the whole idea of this being the first female judge who has school-age children during her office, during her tenure, if she is to be nominated and approved and selected to be our next Supreme Court justice. Well, I'm not lying to you, though. America's going to be a minefield. I talked about it last week. It's going to be a minefield as we look at the level of hatred. The words are going to come out, the inconsistencies from the media, and lots of us. There's going to be a lot of damage. I'm saying that we need to be praying for Miss Barrett, her husband, her kids, and the number of people who are going to be affected by this. You have to understand something here. When we look at the hatred that's going to be coming out because of this, when we look at everything that's going to be attempted, the words that are going to be said, the accusations that are going to be said, you remember how quickly the media, not even 6 months ago, turned around and just just completely erased, what's her name? Come on, say her name. She, because literally her name has been wiped so quickly that I can't even remember her name. The victim of Joe Biden, who basically came out and actually had more proof of his sexual assault against her. She had 10 times more proof of her sexual assault from Joe Biden than we have Tara Reade. Everybody's saying, say her name, Breonna Taylor, but no one wants to say no one wants to say her name, Tara Reade. And I'm sitting here thinking, and the worst part about it is to hear Democrat congressional women say, I believe the victim, but I'm still going to vote. I believe the victim. Do you hear this? They say, I believe the victim, but I'm still going to vote for her rapist. See, this is where you turn around. And this whole idea of this inconsistency in your position, in your indignation, is going to come out to bite you in the end. This is Tara Reade. Tara Reade. Y'all need to be praying for Tara Reade. And not just Tara Reade, but every other sexual victim of Joe Biden. And where the president of the United States of America, where Donald Trump, if it's true that Donald Trump has sexually assaulted somebody, that he has done that, we need to be praying for that real victim. And let's not pick sides. Oh well, no. That they came out, because if we're going to basically want Tara Reade's voice to be heard. The people who are up here and who are lying about what the president's done to them, the people who are just coming out with these accusations, what really makes me mad in this whole process is all these new voices that are coming out against the president. It just seems like people just coming out of the woodwork now. People who didn't even want to come out of the woodwork 4 years ago when it was popular to come out. No, they don't want to come out anymore. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, this Me Too movement is so inconsistent, but even the indignation and the support of the Me Too movement is even worse in this. And I'm sitting here wondering, how do you feel comfortable with yourself? We need to be praying for the victims of sexual assault, of domestic violence, of so much more. And some of them may need to be pointed and directed to New Life Holistic with one of our sponsors. This is key. Take a listen to this for a second here.
I mean, there are
Nope, that's not it, because of the fact that I didn't switch over. Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle4Freedom had sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic. Yes, I didn't see this earlier, but I saw Lieutenant General, or I think it's Third Star General Rocky Stucci was in the chat room, who leads the Meatball Army. Again, you get a chance to listen to him Monday through Friday at crack o'clock in the morning. That's 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also recatch what he said earlier if that's too late for you to be awake. At 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, take a listen to Rocky Stucci in the Situation Room. Not only that, I want you to also go to mojo50.com and select the button schedule to see the different voices that you can hear. A great thing that's on the way with Mojo 50 Radio starting next week. There's going to be 4 different new programs that you can listen to, that you can hear the new voices, the new potential shows, a new potential show that could be on Mojo 50 Radio starting in, I don't know when the timeline is, but it is going to be this great opportunity to hear new shows between 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 4 new shows coming out, 4 new hot potential shows for the network, and that not just for this network, but just amazing shows for you to listen to and hope and appreciate that this could be something that you can listen to on a daily basis. Not just the shows you listen to Monday through Friday or even on the weekend, but new shows that are available to you. Let's do this. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom. I want to go to a break, talk to you beautiful people on the flip side. This election will be vital to the health and sustainability of our country. Our role from this day on could steer the election in either direction. Why? The way we treat one another. In John 13:35, Jesus says, "By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." We know that every election cycle brings out the worst in us. If there was ever a point for honesty, it is in how we act during election season. As much as we would want our candidate to win, attacking a person with contrary opinions only makes them determined to reject our point of view all the more. It may come off as ignorant from them, but we cannot claim innocence if we allow arrogance and disrespect to be the means in which we communicate with those who support the other party or other candidates. Our goal was and will never be to convert voters. Our role is to give them the information needed prior to them casting their vote. It is their choice and right of what they do with that information. Understand, more people are aware of the political corruption and hypocrisy than they wish or want to admit. So there's nothing for us to prove. Choose to be people who invoke change rather than people who irritate and strain. Dale Carnegie once wrote, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." In other words, give people the room to make their own mistakes. Without seeing that they were wrong, they would be blind to see what is right. Remember, every soldier present and gone have fought for the right of every American citizen to vote their own conscience. To insult and ridicule people for exercising their liberty to vote for their candidate is to also desecrate the efforts, memories, and sacrifices made by our heroes for said liberty. Please, show respect. Our nation depends on it. Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom on Mojo5 Radio. I'm your host, and I'm glad that you're listening and you're following and you're paying attention here. This is really critical as we get through this idea of judging not Amy. You know, remember, if you don't recall, there was this TV series called Judging Amy. Very liberal judge, very open living, open kinds of everything individual here. And here's someone who's, you'd almost say is a complete opposite, or in many ways different, just not the same person. Media and everyone loved that person. She's Hollywood. We get behind them. But this person, no one wants to get behind. And I think there's going to be a judgment that all of us face for our inconsistencies and our indignation. This is very key. This is very important. Yeah, we look into this and we choose to do better in our judgment on this thing. I want to just have you listen to a couple of other, we've already done the white chocolate, but I also want you to hear some of the other sponsors that we have. Patriot Energy, take a listen to this one here. Are your energy bills getting out of hand and you want more control of your expenses? Consider Patriot Energy, a local veteran-owned solar company. You need honesty, integrity, and clarity. These markers are essential in the ever-growing solar industry. Call 602-721-6717 for a free quote. Tell them that Watson from Battle4Freedom sent you, and he's from Mojo5 Radio. And that number again, 602-721-6717. Call Patriot Energy today. Call Patriot Energy today. This is critical because of the fact that, listen, our nation is just one ignition away from a major explosion of just emotions, of riots, and more destruction than our nation ever could imagine. How many of you are just ready for the coming disaster? How many of you are ready for, power outages that are affecting California on a daily basis? They want to shut the power off. They want to decide that when they decide to shut the power off, are you prepared? Are you prepared to know, okay, power's going off this day and I'm going to be in the best situation possible? Or are you going to be miserable saying, I just lost a lot of my food. I'm so mad that they decided to do this. Did you ever get a chance to get yourself a cat cooler? When the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you need rugged. You need strong. You need durable. You need cat coolers. These are the best coolers on the market in 27, 55, and 88 quart. Go to catcoolers.com and give them the code Watson to save 10% on your purchase. Don't settle for those substandard containers that melt, leak, and destroy your memorable moments. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. Cat Coolers. Yes, do that, and do that now, because of the fact that you need to be ready for any situation possible. If you're not preparing, if you're not getting ready, then whatever happens to you is on you and your unwillingness to pay attention to the truth. Please, it's for your benefit that you take this seriously. Here's some of the different things that I'm just struggling with as we go into this whole idea of the level of judgment that the media dismisses the concerns for the mail-in ballots. So I have a good friend who lives in Kokomo, Indiana, just about 45 minutes north of where I live, and he shared an article. So how everybody's sharing out the articles of we getting multiple mail-in ballots now. I shared one last week where someone got 3. Well, here's someone that I know personally, and he received 2 mail-in ballots that he never requested. And it has his name and all that stuff pre-filled out. He never requested it. But when the media gets out there and the Democrats basically say he's trying to wreck the voting process, the Democrat process of electing a president. And now we have the situation where we've watched tons of video showing post office workers discarding and throwing away trash. Last week in Pennsylvania, we had 9 votes from military members that were discarded by a postal worker. And you're like, well, it's just only 9. No. With mail-in ballots going wrong, and then also I got this past weekend. One of our own on Mojo Fiber Radio, Stu Peters. He comes on at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, with Richard Leonard on Patriotically Correct Radio. And he shares that Project Veritas can confirm Ilhan Omar is running ballot mill corruption in Cedar Riverside neighborhood of Minneapolis. So here it is that we have Democrat officials who are running ballot harvesting. They're preparing to take back. So if you have to think about this, if they have evidence of it happening now, how is it that they got in office in the first place? Do we question what they did in the first place? See, we can't undo what they've done in the past. But if they have a propensity to do it now, you don't think that they did it in the past? And now more and more, every last one of us need to, what's going on in your neighborhood. You need to speak up. You need to get the video footage. You need to get everything. And listen, understand this clearly. Do not try to be this individual who wants to be the person who breaks the news. I've got to be, because guess what happens when you turn around and you do this and you get so eager of busting everybody and you decided not to make backup copies of that video footage that you have. That video footage gets wiped. That video footage gets blocked. When you have data like that, that's critical information of the voter registration or the illegal voter registration or election fraud going on, you get that video and you make as many copies as you possibly can and you get it out to as many people as you can. You don't have to be the next, I'm going to be the next, internet news sensation. Stop looking for 15 minutes of fame and actually expose these heresies and these threats to our Constitution and our American way of life. I know you want to be famous. I know you want to be on. I know you want to be in front on Sunday. Yes, it's fun being in the spotlight. It's great, but don't sacrifice. Don't sacrifice the nation for 15 minutes of fame. It doesn't work. It doesn't help. I remember it's very interesting. My family members and friends are so quiet right now on the whole idea. And so many people are so quiet right now on this whole idea of Russian collusion. You were hell bent on Russian collusion for now. I saw this meme last week and this weekend, and I thought it was really great. It said, How did Mueller do a 2-year investigating of everything Russia and miss where Moscow mayor gave $3.5 million to Hunter Biden, asking for a friend? See, all those other individuals who are so hell-bent on Russian collusion, and even to this moment, to this day, still believe in Russian collusion. Not only do we have the information of the 3.5 million and that there was more that was handed out to Hunter Biden, we even have that we've had for the longest time. What is it? Uranium One? How Clinton was giving nuclear technology? And to sit here and no one wants to talk about it. Quid pro quo nonsense, everything that you can imagine. Supporting the enemy, but everyone's silent about this. The double standards. See, understand this. The double standard may offend me, but I can't do anything to you. and maybe that satisfies you when you stand before God on the double standards that you had. When you stand before God on your indignation that has been inconsistent and double-minded. When you stand before God, I'm praying that you have a spirit of humility. But I pray before you close your eyes and meet God, you get right with him by accepting Christ as your Lord and Savior. Because when you close your eyes on this side, it's done. It's over. There's no getting around it. Oh, Lord, please help us. Peter Seraphin said, I'm a mail-in, and I've talked about mailing in voting for an hour twice. Yeah. Here's my concern is we've got to be very careful on this. I don't want anyone's vote discarded because of the fact that they found more than one. And I don't want any of you to face any kind of election, because here's my thing too. For those of you who receive multiple ballots, is this an avenue of tempting you to vote in multiple times? Sending your mail in a couple times? Because understand this, that's a felony crime. If I'm correct, that's a felony crime that you do this. So please be careful on what you do and make certain that you have not in any way threatened the safety and security of your family. Listen, we don't have to take illegal measures to try and defeat the other ones who are doing illegal measures to win. The moment that we decide to discard our character for the win is the moment that America is over. Let me repeat that. The moment that we decide to discard our character and integrity to win, America is over. Period. I understand that there are rules, and there's rules of engagement in warfare. But if before the blood is drawn and our character is questionable, if we're willing to compromise before blood is shed, and even while blood is shed, who are we to remain? Who are we to be? What people are we to be when the war is over? How can people forget? It was needed at that time. Well, what's to stop you from changing your character again under less severe circumstances? It's very key that the one thing we maintain is our character and our integrity in the midst of all of this. Please, let us be careful. Thank you for sharing that, Peter. Peter Seraphin is on Mojo 50 Radio, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't go to mojo50.com/schedule. He is part of our team. He is part of our crew. You'll love what he shares. You'll love his perspective. Please take a listen. Just not me. I appreciate you listening to me. Trust me, I appreciate you listening to me, especially when my mic is on. But please check out the other different hosts. So I got fact-checked last week. This is actually the second time I've been fact-checked. And so I shared with you remember the woman who got arrested at the Ohio football game because she wouldn't wear a mask? Well, the fact checkers decided that they wanted to tell me she did not get arrested because she wasn't wearing a mask. She got arrested for criminal trespassing. I appreciate this. One of my pastor friends and a good friend and brother in Christ who is here in Indiana, and he points out, check out the doublespeak of what these people are saying right now, where you turn around and they basically tell you what reality is, by distorting reality. And one of the things that I thought was very interesting, and thank you, Vanessa, for joining, is that we sit here and we watch this critical thinking. Andrew Coppins. He comes on check him Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Pat Oney. I'm gonna say Pat Tooney, Pat Oney. That you can hear the content that's going on and what they have to share. Another amazing show that you need to listen to. As you sit here and you watch, I love this meme that one of my friends shared. He says, Orwell called them thought police. Zuckerberg calls them fact checkers. See, this is really scary when you can see that the fact checkers are doing verbal and whatever kind of gymnastics you can to basically get around the truth. And it's very, Vanessa just said, critical thinking is a superpower. Yes, critical thinking is a superpower in this moment, in this time, when you sit there and you watch what the fact checkers are saying. See, it's very interesting that you remember when we started exposing Snopes for being a basement of liberals, that Snopes had kind of got quiet there for a while as they were exposed. But see, now you don't have to worry about exposing the fact checkers for Facebook because of the fact that the moment you expose them for their lies and what they do, and they fact check you, or they block your content, or they shadow ban your information so no one can listen and so no one can learn. This is very dangerous and this is very scary because of the fact that really many of us are going to be making judgments. Many of us are going to be very angry. Many of us are going to be very frustrated with a lot of things that we start seeing on social media, and understand that a lot of this social media, social engineering, social manipulation of the population. I wasn't even trying to rhyme there. It just happened, and it's not a black thing. It's just a me thing. But the social manipulation of the population that's happening through social media. This means that a lot of the stuff that we have to fact check everything. I want you to fact check even what I say. I'm not above being fact checked. I'm not above you verifying everything that I'm saying. I need you to. I want you to. The reason why is the moment that you start taking everything as I say as the gospel truth without verifying and questioning me, you have done a disservice to me, because that is not the purpose of Battle for Freedom. Battle for Freedom is to free you from automatically assuming all the truths that we've been handed down for so long by fallen, broken individuals. There's only one truth that stands the test of time, that will not fail you. It will not disappoint you, and that's the Word of God. That is the Word of God. Listen and read God's Word. Allow His Spirit to let you read His Word and see it as and allow these passages to basically explain themselves. That's one thing you don't have to worry about fact checking, because they've been trying to fact check the Bible for over 2,000 years, and they still can't. They make a lot of accusations. Oh, the Bible's inconsistent. There's contradictions in the Bible. Show me where. When everyone says that, when anyone says to you, show me there's inconsistency, and so basically, because of the fact that they do not know the context of the passage that they're trying to shut down. They don't understand the passage or the context of the gospel messages. They're just duplicates of each other. Or one gospel says this thing, one says this thing. Well, they're saying things from different perspectives and different points of view, talking about the very same exact story. It's not a contradiction. It's further information. The Bible, here's a phrase I want you to understand. The Bible is self-attesting. The Bible itself attests to itself that the extra stuff, the extra external sources out there like Josephus and Pliny the Younger, and if I'm correct that that's who he was, the external people that you had that you could put things together. Here it is. On this book, New Evidence That Demands a Verdict by Josh McDowell, it'll be great for you to pick up and see all the historical evidence that's around there that supports the Bible, that's actually outside of the Bible at the time of the Bible, that could give you more credibility to what it is that we've learned and heard it's in the Bible. But again, the Bible itself it does not contradict itself. There are no contradictions in the Word of God. The only time you're going to see a contradiction is because you're coming to the Bible with a contradictory spirit and you have no desire for God's Word to transform you. You have no desire to hear the truth about what Jesus did on the cross for you. You just want to be vindicated to live your life whatever way you want to. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's your choice. That's your freedom. But understand this, as you sit there and do that, you're not free from the consequences of your actions of rebelling and rejecting God. Don't expect God to be a loving and kind God to you when this life is over. If you didn't want anything to do with him in this life, trust me, you won't have anything to do with him in the next life to come. That's if you want to even receive or even believe that. 49 after. Okay. So here we are. Yesterday I had a chance to go to Jo Jorgensen. She's a libertarian candidate who's running for the office of the President of the United States. I had a chance to meet Donald Rainwater. He's been making the circuit as best as he possibly can out there. And it was very interesting as she was sharing and she was talking, and she took time for questions, and I was so happy. I was surprised, actually. I was one of the first people to get up there and actually speak. I think there was one person who came before me. I correct myself. I thought I was the first person. I was the second person to actually ask her a question. And it's very critical as we sit here and we question and we ask the right questions on here for these candidates. I had a chance to ask her what I said to you last week when I was speaking on the show, when I said I asked Jo Jorgensen. I asked Jo Jorgensen, and I've also asked this of gubernatorial candidate Donald Rainwater. I said, I've yet to find a candidate who's sat there. You guys are talking about limiting the size of government. You're talking about restricting the powers of government and what they can do to affect the lives of American citizens. But I have yet to hear candidates who sit there and talk about the personal responsibility of what Americans must do. That old age, ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. But what about what you can do for you? Right now, everybody's upset. Let's see, systemic racism and inequality and all these other different things. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so what are you doing to make your life better? What poor decisions have you stopped making in your life so that you can be more successful in where you are in life? Donald Rainwater, I had a chance to talk to him a little bit after the event was over. And again, I'm trying to have an interview with him if it's at all possible. But he said something, and I really appreciate what he had to say. He said something along the lines of, you know what, we just automatically assumed, and I want to hear him say it on this program, it would be great, that when we say self-rule, that we automatically assume that to self-govern, to self-rule, that there would also be self-responsibility and self-accountability. And it's like, you know what? I guess it is safe to assume that. The unfortunate reality, though, is that there's so many American citizens who don't know how to manage their money. There's so many American citizens who are willing to learn how to manage their money. Because it's like, eat, drink, and be merry for today, tomorrow we die. This whole idea that I want to do whatever I want to, and who cares about what the consequences are. This is the mentality of many American citizens, that we don't care about what tomorrow may bring. And it's not because of the fact that we're doing what the Word of God says about just being in the moment and thinking about today. It's just that we're just in the world and we just don't care. There's no relationship. There's no connection to God. There's no security in Him. It's just a free-for-all in the way we live. So there's this assumption, and maybe many of you, as you listen to this program, as you listen to Mojo 50 Radio, there's this assumption that you already have your things together. I'm going to tell you, till I'm blue in the face, Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey is one of the best things that you need to pick up right now. You may think it's too late for me to get my life in order when it comes to finances. No, it's never too late. It's never too late to do that. You can get your life in order if you just if you're willing to make the sacrifices now, you will not believe the untold blessings that comes in from making those critical sacrifices right now. Another question that I ask, and I'm going to do this one tomorrow, because I had a young lady. I had a young lady, her name is Janet, and she responded on this one. But this is because one of the things that I'm trying to remain calm in this, in that I hear a lot of candidates, especially on the libertarian side, we talk about this whole idea with drugs being a victimless crime. And so when I said to her, I asked Joe Jorgensen to please clean this up, that you guys keep saying that people shouldn't be arrested for victimless crimes, whether you're smoking pot or whatever, but lots of families have fallen apart because of victimless crimes. Even though they may not be arrested, addictions to drugs and addictions to some, a lot of crazy things. And actually, Vanessa Mueller yesterday on Off Track with Lucy 6, she said something really great. And she says, well, you know what? There are people who can be addicted to anything. And those addictions to anything can ruin any family, any marriage, any community, any society. Yes, and it's true. So as we sit here, I'm not saying that we can't be indignant. I'm not saying that we can't be so frustrated about the things that are happening in the news. But more important than anything else, a lot of us, even including myself, folks, understand this. When you hear me making a statement on something, opinion against something, or even trying to say the fact against something, understand this, that I check myself as well. Thank you. I've been called a prayer warrior for the network. People call me a good Christian and everything like that. Understand this. I am a broken, fallen individual saved by the grace of God. There are things that circle around here and in my heart that daily I pray, Lord, take this away from me, because it makes me less of the godly man of who you want me to be. It makes me, if take these things away so I'm not offending you. When we should stand up for righteousness, we should stand up for holiness. We should also stand against the unrighteousness and the unholiness that's in us. So trust me, it's what we're about to see from the left is going to be disgusting. It's going to be disappointing. It's going to be a level of wickedness and evil that you can never imagine. And it's unfortunate how it's going to unfold in front of our faces and in front of our eyes. And that's why I said earlier, please pray for the Barrett family. Yes, the Barrett family, because this is going to be a nightmare. This is going to be disgusting to see how far things will go. And more important than anything else, y'all need to be prepared for the worst case scenarios. Our country is, like I said, it's just a powder keg away from exploding. I want to spend a little bit more time tomorrow talking to you about them. USCCA. If you go to uscca.com/mojo50 and learn about, defending yourself, protecting your family, when you being protected for protecting your family, because this is here. This is now. We're watching Black Lives Matter now plow through. And here's the thing about this too. Y'all, we got angry. We got angry when Black Lives Matter and Antifa were blocking us on the road. Why are you blocking Antifa and other people when they're trying to get through as well too? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. If Antifa and Black Lives Matter could be hood ornaments, someone, I think of the Mojo 50 Jackals, they shared something about a new Christmas edition of just a car plowing through protesters. If that's good for Black Lives Matter and Antifa, it's sure enough as good as well for Trump voters, MAGA supporters. You want to block a vehicle. You want to be dumb enough to block a vehicle. Deal with the consequences against that. Don't sit here and be angry when it happens to us, but then when it happens to us, but then turn around and do the same thing to them. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Is this hear me and hear me now. If you are inconsistent in your indignation, if you are inconsistent in your worldview, you are heaping judgment upon yourself. Listen, I don't have an attitude of gratitude for you right now. I do not have that prepared, tired. I guess I was just so eager on turning around and sharing some great theology. Here's some theology from Brad Staggs, who's up next on the Daily Mojo early in the morning.
I mean, there are things that in the stories from the Bible that have always because after all, if you get right down to it, Jesus was an extraterrestrial as is God. But no, it's true. I mean, they're not of this earth.
Yes, that's Brad Staggs, the Daily Mojo up next. Or you have Patriotically Correct this afternoon. I'm your host, Watson Prudier for Battle for Freedom, folks. I love you. Peace out.